Grand Rising, beloveds, love and immunity, standing still. Back on here this morning, as I was meditating this morning with nothing of myself going forward, I started to, I think this one I may have drawn into the meditation, standing alone. And again, standing in the presence of the Lord. How I got to the point of all of this revelation, and as I stated, no one has to believe anything that I am stating. You are your own existence. Every given day you are your own existence, but the only place where you exist is here, here, and here. And no one can dispute that fact unless you want to dismiss the fact that you are a living kingdom. You have that right. There are many people right now dismissing that fact. And that this is how they got here, but they still choose to dismiss that fact because the program running inside of their brain, not their genetic code in their gene, but inside of their brain, which is the program that they have been taught, it's the program. That program, because you are consciousness, that program is going to run and run and run and run. It's just like going to school. They repetitively teach you the same thing so that it can be stored in that program, and it follows you. It follows you. That's how you learn as a human, but how you understand as a eternal being, a immortal being, and a mortal being is by understanding your living truths. This is knowledge. It's existence. This is the law of existence, and this is the living body of existence. Living. This is a living kingdom. And when you can get living kingdom, you will get, it shouldn't die. It's mortal. And immortal means that immortal is like you got a living God walking the fabric of this earth, but they rejected their knowledge. They chose to reject their knowledge, so they have no eternal, immortal, or mortal being living inside of them, because we can only choose one master. We can only choose one existence. Why? Because you're just one gene. You're just one fabric of existence. So if you choose to be this fabric, surely if you eat from this knowledge, remember God said, my people perish because of lack of their knowledge. So if you choose to eat from this knowledge, you're going to have to die by it. Why? Because this kingdom is not eternal, immortal, immortal. It does not carry the wellspring of the living kingdom. It does not carry the knowledge of immortality. Standing still. When you stand still, beloveds, this morning when I was laying there, my brother died on Saturday, and I just got notification yesterday that he passed away. So this morning, those thoughts were coming to me. They were, things were coming to me. I've gotten to the point where I try not to grieve. I've had to bury two of my children, my firstborn and both of my boys. I had to cremate one and bury the other. So I've learned to not grief, because grief is a powerful toxin. Remember, we must all remember that we are chemical. And grief is a toxin. It's just like what God said. What do you add on to a day of your lifespan if you worry? And when you understand why the living God told you that, the living God told you that because this kingdom, this your mortality, whether you want to believe that you live in it or not. See, humans will not believe this, so they don't govern themselves according to the living kingdom. If you governed yourself according to the living kingdom and you just stood still and knew that God lives inside of you, you will understand that your mind, remember God said, do not be conformed to this world. Stay transformed and renewed in my mind. You will understand that your mind is the directive of the living God of existence. And when you stand in this kingdom, this mind is a law, so it'll tell you how to honor this kingdom automatically. So at a very early age, being internal, I learned how to understand life within myself. So I had already learned how to stand still and know that I'm internal. So I have a lot of history behind why I come on here and I share these things with you. Um, but when we grieve, remember we have to understand that this part of our body, our mortal kingdom, which is our organs, our cells, our tissues, and you see the wellspring, the veins where God flows. His immunity is a flow. Remember, blood has to flow. It cannot be hardened. Remember, God said, I hardened Pharaoh's heart. He does that because this body is a chemical state of being. It's truly a heavenly realm, beloveds. We are living inside of a perfect image and likeness. But this world says, no, we're not perfect. But inside of this world, you must be. And see, they believe in it's this kingdom believes that if we don't hold ourselves accountable to this understanding, it won't bother us. But it does. I mean, you cannot, you cannot be here. This kingdom could not even be here without this one. And you have to understand there's so much, there's so much outside of this understanding that you guys don't understand why humans were forced to be humans, why they were forced to be humans. There's a history behind why they fell from the grace of heaven, the eternal kingdom. Like in Adam and Eve's time, remember in the Bible, God told Adam and Eve, don't eat from this tree. Don't eat from this knowledge. You can eat from all the other trees of my fabric, but you cannot eat from this one because this is just a cloth. And behind this story, there's since the beginning of time, because humans fail from this kingdom. They fell from eternity into immortality and being mortal beings. When you fall, you can't fall without the spirit with you. Okay, that's why they became humans. They became humans because they fell without the spirit. Remember, in our mother's womb, how we got here was through this constellation. How we're living right now is through this constellation. So if we deny the fact, because our mind is a law, ask and it shall be given. It will be given automatically. So if we reject it, this is again what Hosea 4:6 is about. I will continue to just speak the truth, the holy truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God, that till the day your great return is amongst all of your people who have came back over to your land. I'm going to continue to do what you created me in your image and your likeness to do for my people. So this kingdom is one. Remember, Jesus said, I and my Father are one. When two or more are present, then I am. When we are operating in these two immunities, we automatically are this one. Automatically. Because these two, this is a whole covenant. You automatically are here. Always. We are always going to be one nation under God. Even if we are humans and living in the world, you still are one nation under God. But the thing is, inside of this kingdom, because it's a law, it's consciousness. Your mind is consciousness. You cannot be unconscious to your own existence, your own state of being. See, humans are not the being, they are the human. You can't only be one. You got to choose which master. You can't be the human and the being. It just don't work like that, because the mind is just one knowledge to this. The mind is not the knowledge. The spirit is not the knowledge to the human. It did not create the human. It created the gene, the mind, and it created the body, which is the organs, the cells, the tissues. This is just flesh. It's just a cloth. It's just like the clothes that she is wearing. It is to cover up the living body, the living kingdom. And a lot of people don't understand that the living kingdom is this. It has nothing to do with this. The appearance. Remember, God said, man only knows the appearance. I only know the heart. I only know the spirit that is flowing through this living kingdom. I only know the immunity that this body is producing, either on my behalf or in the. This is the valley of the shadow of death, beloveds. And this is just it. In the Bible, this is what is the valley of the shadow of death stands for, is this kingdom. We must understand that there are only two forms of creation, and that is the human and that is the being. The being is the spirit, the existence of the human. So without the existence, the humans could not exist. But here the humans are saying they don't have an existence. They don't. Have you ever, and you don't have to believe me, all you have to do is understand, have you ever been taught about your being? What is the being inside of you? What is the spirit inside of you? How did you get here? Be outside of your mother. How did the very first mother get here? How was she able to produce the seed of life? See, you've never been taught about your head. You know about your tail. You know how to stand in the presence of this world, but you don't know how to stand still in your own existence. And when you stand in your own existence, how I got here, beloved, is truly how I got to the point where I can just break this down fluently without going to school, without anything, just knowing everything is me standing still. It came a point in my life where I started to awaken to my truth, and this offended many people, and they tried to take me down. And this is just the truth. They tried to take me down. They tried to stagnate my growth. They tried to keep me from moving forward. So it brought me into a depression. It brought me into a depression, beloveds. I got really depressed. Not only was I depressed at this time, but I was afraid because there were some things happening to me that it's gang stalking. I showed you the video about gang stalking, what happens sometimes to people like myself who have a calling for this kingdom. And this kingdom right here, you got to understand that this is a battle. In this kingdom, it's a battle between good and evil. You have to understand this. It's a battle. This mind has been controlled by programs. And these programs that run inside of this brain, you have to understand, there's a book that it's called God Wants Us All Well. That is the best book you will ever be able to read to understand this understanding that I'm telling you. I never read the whole book, beloveds, because when I started reading the very first, I'd say the very first chapter, the book started unlocking my knowledge. It started to, let me tell you how God works. When you come back into your truth, remember Jesus said the truth will set you free. Well, I've always been in my truth because I'm internal. This is who I am. I'm a gene. I'm not a human. No, humans are humans, but because they say they are, ask and it shall be given, they are. They just are. So I can't be a force of evil and say, no, you're not a human. You are. You claim that. Well, I don't claim to be a human. Why do I not claim to be a human? Because if I claim to be a human, I cannot be eternal, immortal. And plus, because I came from this constellation, my mind is this image in this likeliness. It just is. I mean, all of my life, I knew I was different. All of my life, I knew that I was set apart. All of my life, I knew that this was not right for me. It hurt like hell. It felt like kryptonite to be her. It felt like trauma and mental health issues and post-traumatic stress and fear and struggles and worries. I mean, just being her, she had to endure so much trauma because she was just her. In this world, being who you are can be detrimental to your health, to your well-being, and it can also destroy your gene. It can destroy your existence, because in this world you understand who you are. You standing in the image of being a living law. I am a law. I cannot break this covenant. I can't. I was born in this constellation, whether People believe I came out of my mother's womb. In order to get into my mother's womb, I had to come from the living God. I had to come from the heavens into this earth. And this earth had to create me in its image and its likeness, beloved. It's right here in the living body as a living kingdom, which means that this kingdom is mortal. This kingdom is immortal, and this kingdom is eternal. And humans got here this way as well, but humans don't, they don't speak of it. They don't teach of it. They don't think of it. So as a man thinketh, so he is. So I was not born under this knowledge. My gene does not represent this knowledge. It just doesn't. And for a lot of people, this is going to be hard to understand. But when you want to understand how Jesus got here, he got here from the constellation of what you would call the stars, which was earth. I mean, heaven. This is what represents heaven, the living. If you understood right now, your thoughts, just like your breath, if you understand the breath is what is giving you life inside of this kingdom. It's the unseen world. And humans can't get that either all day because they don't see the breath. They can't see. This is what God said. Humans only can see through appearance. They only can see through appearance. So they don't believe the unseen. They can't believe in anything that they don't see. And plus, the program they have running through their brain is not this constellation. The program that I have running inside of me, because I'm internal, is this constellation. I'm a gene. It's my own truth. It's like my truth did not say, I don't believe in you. My truth is saying, I'm you. Because this is who we really are. What swam up into our mother's womb was this. It was not this. Remember, this came last. It came last. We've seen this. Nobody can dispute this. So how could this be who we are? And even in our mother's womb, this came first, then this, and then this, and then this. So humans are just saying, no, 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 no. If I claim this, I can't claim nothing else because this is one. All this is one. I and my Father are one. This had to become one in order for us to get here. In order for this to get here, all these things had to be, the Trinity of life had to be the Father, the Son. This is the child, the Son. And this is the Holy Ghost, the Holy Grail, the Father, the Creator, the Son, the child, and the Holy Grail, which is where the Holy Spirit, remember that God said, guard your heart through the well springs of life flow. Here's existence flowing through all your organs, your cells, your tissues, and your branches, blood. This bloodline is just like the spirit, it's the energy. Although under a microscope, if you've seen this under a microscope, you wouldn't see this anymore. Under a microscope, you wouldn't see flesh. You would literally see the existence in its purest atom, in the atom form. And you will see this right here as a molecule. And this right here, just exactly as it is right here inside of you. Organs, cells, tissues, as in your mother's womb. 3 months here, 3 months here, and 3 months here. 3, 6, 9 creates the, what is it called? The Fibonacci or the Nachi code. It creates a living kingdom. So this is evolution in its at its head. This is evolution at its tail. So in Hosea 4:6, God said, you rejected your knowledge. You rejected to see me in my heavenly form. You wanted to see me here, down here in the world. That I told you, don't be conformed. You cannot conform to this world. Why? Because you are one existence. And you can't honor two at the same time. You cannot. And right now, this is how the mind is fragmented in the world. As a human, your mind is not wholeness. Humans don't even know what wholeness is anymore. You can't be whole in this kingdom because your wholeness, how many races am I in this nationality? I'm black. I'm African American. I got so many names in this kingdom that my spirit is being fragmented into all, like, how do I find wholeness in this kingdom? There's no wholeness in this world. Here's the wholeness. This is why it says you cannot call God in another name. God right here is just existence. And he feeds this existence his living truth. And this existence creates its image and its likeness into the heavenly existence, into the living kingdom, organ by organ, cell by cell, tissue by tissue. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Right here, again, you are law. So when we stand still, anytime you stand still, you automatically have to come out of this, because it's just like closing your eyes. Right now, if I close my eyes, my mind would be absent. I would be standing still. The minute I close my eyes, my mind, which is who I truly am, is my gene. Remember God said in Romans 12:2, stay transformed and renewed in my mind. Your gene is your mind. If you understand, you are trillions and trillions and trillions of these genetic makeup right now living inside of you. You have a living kingdom inside of you right now. That if you follow the laws, remember God's laws is eternity, immortality, and mortality. If you followed the covenant of God's laws and you stood still in them and just stopped being died to this world, remember you got to die to this world in order to stand in God's covenant, because you can only serve one existence, or what God said, one master. It's not a master. God, I want God to be my master. I do. To be honest, would you want a master that's this master? Because this master, even when I was under her authority, I was not even an existence in her authority. So her being my master was not easy. It was very struggle. I struggled every day under her mastery. But under this mastery, all you got to do is stand still. Why? Your existence. Your mind is a law, and your law takes care. It armors the living kingdom. Your mind armors this living kingdom. So my brother passing away, it didn't affect me as much. It didn't affect me as much because now I know that grief to a chemical body, it can destroy me. It can poison me. So I don't grieve anymore. This morning when I laid down, or yesterday, there was some things behind my brother's death that I questioned, and it was bringing me back into this world. It was bringing me back into beliefs. And yesterday I went and sat outside on the grass, and in wet and all, and I grounded myself to earth, to the constellation, the nothingness, because inside of her, she feels she's a body. So in order to get myself out of this mindset, I go and I ground myself on the ground, and I automatically come back into the fabric of just like the breath. You know how the breath is living for you right now, truly living for you. Do you know that your breath is living for you right now? If that breath got up and left your body right now, this cloth could not exist anymore. So when you come back to that understanding, you're just this. This is what you can see as the breath. It goes deeper, but in order for you to see how fearfully and wonderfully you made and how to stand still, it's just as easy as just sitting there and focusing on your breath. So what I do in order to get out of her mentality, because there was some, in this world, it's, you got spiritual forces behind everything. In this world, there's a spiritual force behind everything. Remember, in the valley of the shadow of death, you have this. It's a spirit. It's still ran by a spirit, beloveds, because how we got here was from the spirit kingdom into the bloodline, and the bloodline creates the what you would call matter. So the molecule is the bloodline. Here is the spirit. This is just the fabric of existence, like the breath. It's just like the breath. You don't see the breath. The breath is invincible, but it's living. What do you think is breathing for this right now? The living kingdom. You can't see the living kingdom. So, but the living kingdom created the matter. The living kingdom, the unseen, created the seen. But the world wants to see things, although it's only unseen that can create the seeing. Before you even had eyes to see that you were this, you were just this, beloveds. And see, humans still can't grasp this knowledge. Although even in their mother's womb, they came through this constellation. And the thing about God and the thing about truth, when Jesus said it's only the truth that's going to set you free, you have to be under the law of truth. Because remember, God said you are to serve no other gods, and you are to only be under my law. See, God's law is living. In order to have eyes to see and ears to hear, you have to stand still. You have to stand still. In order to stand still, you have to no longer see through appearance. You have to no longer see through matter. You have to no longer see through flesh. You got to come back over to your own living truth. And this is where God will stand still. Remember, God said, stand still and know that I am your God. When you stand still and God is your God, your mind automatically turns into a law. This law automatically talks to your holy grail. Remember in your mother's womb? 3 months here, 3 months here, and this one was you inside of your mother's womb, beloved. She was cut from the cloth of existence. For 3 months, you were learning how to understand how your mind works inside of you. Remember, God says the kingdom of heaven lives within. So this gene had already had the directive to turn itself into the organs, the cells, the tissues, and the limbs, the living kingdom. So you already been communing with God in your mother's womb in the constellation of this existence. The only way this existence can come into this one is through Earth herself, is that mother's womb. There's no other way unless you're going to go through artificial insemination. And then in that kingdom, you're not coming from the fabric of existence. You're coming from AI. These are babies that's made up out of DNA. Somebody takes the DNA out of this person, and that memory of the DNA will be born into that child again. It's just like right now, humans, they're born into their DNA and not their gene. Because they rejected their knowledge. So God said, I will reject your children. And humans' children are bodies. It's flesh. God's children are living kingdoms. They are eternal, immortal, immortality, the Trinity of life. Humans, they don't live in this constellation. They don't teach themselves this. They don't know anything about their own existence. And I don't have to prove this to you. You know this. If you are born in this image, shouldn't you know how fearfully and wonderfully you made? Do you know how fearfully and wonderfully your gene is inside of you right now? Do you know what it can do for you, beloveds? Do you know what your organs and cells and your tissues can do when you are being attacked by spiritual forces of evil, like grief, like anger, like fear, like poverty, like wickedness, like evil, like racism, like hate, like duality, like anything that is outside of your own immunity? Do you know what this kingdom can do for you when those spiritual forces of evil are trying to come into you and attack your holy grail, and you are a law? Do you know how to access your armor? Do you know how to access your armor? No, humans don't know how to access their armor because they can only choose one God. Remember, God said you can't serve no other God than me. Because when you serve me, you will be standing still in me, and you will know I am your God. I am your God. I direct your ways. Here's your mind. I will direct your ways. You're not going to be hurt no more. This morning, what got me here is I started to feel sad. I'm going to be honest. During my meditation this morning, because of my brother passing, I started to feel alone, because I'm like, I haven't been connected to my family. I've never been connected to none of my family. I'm like the black sheep. I stand alone. I'm not invited. I'm the last one to be called. Sometimes I'm not even called, and I can see everybody enjoying themselves, and nobody reached out to me. Nobody told me anything was there. No, I didn't know nothing. And then I see it later on. So this morning I started I fell back into this kingdom. I fell. This kingdom, it does not understand that it does not operate off of immunity, wholeness. It just doesn't. And you'll see this. If you are a black sheep, beloveds, you already know that this kingdom does not operate in wholeness. You can do one thing wrong, but everybody can be doing the same thing. But because you are the one set apart, they will just reject you. And it's just the way it is. It's not wrong. It's not wrong, because if that's the way they think, as a man thinketh, so he is. And that's something, if you are a black sheep and you've had to endure this, you are just going to have to understand that you are going to stand alone. And when you stand alone, beloveds, you're not standing alone for a reason. You weren't set apart for a reason. You were set apart for such a time as this. Because we don't understand that this gene, this existence, has nothing to do with this. It doesn't. It has all to do with this. So even when it's swimming up into your mother's womb, it's not coming unless you are the human. It's coming from the DNA. But if you are the constellation of this existence, it's going to come from the living kingdoms. You're going to be set apart like Jesus was a chosen one. If you come from this constellation, your gene is not going to be DNA. Your gene is going to, your existence is not going to be from the DNA. Your existence is going to be from the gene. For the evolution of the living God, the living kingdom. So you are going to be a black sheep. You are going to be set apart. You are going to be different, because life is truly not about the DNA, beloveds. We know this. This is just a cloth. Many people are living in a cloth instead of living in their own fabric. Here's your fabric. Fearfully and wonderfully made, you beloveds. This is fearfully and wonderfully made. Why? Because it's the law. It's the book of life. When your mind is under this transformed and this renewed constellation, you are the child of the Most High, beloveds. When your mind is under this one, you are just the son of man. You are just the son of man. And you have to operate. Remember, you have to operate by the rulers and the authorities of this world. When I was under this understanding or this knowledge, I was just black. I was African American. I had so many rulers and authorities under this not under this world. Here's a constellation. Here's the world. This world lives outside of its own truth. Being an internal being, I feel like I didn't exist in this world. I didn't exist. I was rejected, literally, by everybody. Nobody, I'm crazy, you weird, you're lying, you this, you that, you that. All of my life, that's what I was fed. All of my life, it was just feeding me this. Nobody stopped to think nothing about me. This world it doesn't have a mind. It just lives off of a brain. It's just a cloth. And this is going to offend many people. But when you want to stand still in the presence of the Lord, which is your living truth, be set free from this damnation, because this is a damnation. It's a sin. To live in DNA, which is inside of this gene, is an inequity, is a bondage. It is truly a bondage. Why? Because your mind now has to live. Your law now has to be affected by the real law. You're going to be held accountable for everything this DNA has done. Everything that your ancestors have done. And you know your ancestors haven't done right, because if they did, they would be born in their own knowledge. And this is something that you have to understand, because this DNA is an end time prophecy. Its days is numbered. Why? Because this chemical body can only take so much toxicity before it becomes hardened like Pharaoh's heart. That's when it perishes. So remember, God said he's telling us when this happens. In your fourth generation, I will be revisiting you. When we go through this constellation, this constellation and this constellation, and I return back onto me, that's the fourth generation. That's when I return back onto me and I discover again who I am. I'm not her. I've never been her. Never. Never will I ever be her. And to lie to myself, to lie in this image, to lie in this is damnation. It's automatic. Why? Because my gene is a law. My gene is going to handle me accordingly, regardless if I pray, if I beg, if I plead, if I do anything. It don't matter. This human cannot save me from this gene, from this law. No weapon formed against me can save me from this law. No armor that lives in this world, a gun, a inoculation, or artificial intelligence can save me from this law. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven lives within. I am a holy grail. That's how I got here. I'm mortality. I am immortality, and I am the fabric of existence. So nothing can save this kingdom. Nothing. There is nothing that man has ever made up that will ever be able to save this person from its DNA, which is the inequity that this existence holds from what this one did inside of this one. So when we stand still and we know God, this is how we come back into the glory or the presence of the Lord. See, a couple of years ago, I started really waking up, and a lot of people got threatened by that, and they isolated me. And when they isolated me, I had nobody to turn to. I was all alone. I was afraid. I was going through hell. There were things happening to me. Go watch the gang stalking video. And these things, this world, they don't believe in them. They don't believe that they exist. They don't believe that they're happening. So they would have said that I was crazy at this time. So I fought the battle alone. But I wasn't fighting the battle. During this time, I would just lay up in my room and I would cry. And I would cry and I would cry. I couldn't do nothing. I told you what God will do to you when this kingdom is under attack. What he will do is he will shut you down. He will shut these two kingdoms down. I wasn't getting it at the time. God was protecting my spirit. He knows if this kingdom breaks my spirit, they can destroy my immunity in this body. They can kill me. So God, because I'm I started standing alone. When they made me stand alone, when they forced me, because I was not doing nothing wrong. So I was hurt. Remember, but when you get hurt, you start sending toxicity up into this kingdom. You start poisoning yourself. So some of the people in this kingdom, they know this because they are spiritual forces of evil. I'm just going to speak the truth, beloveds. If you want to understand the Bible, you're going to have to understand how to understand it inside of who you are, not inside of who you have been taught to believe yourself to be. Here, spiritual forces of evil rock the fabric of this earth. Remember, it says the beast walks the fabric of this earth. Why? Because it's still inside of this kingdom. And when it's inside of this kingdom, its mind is the spiritual force of evil, which means that it is the valley of the shadow of death. What is flowing through its kingdom, remember, is just like Pharaoh. Pharaoh imprisoned his own people. You are existence. How do you imprison existence? How do you enslave existence? How do you enslave the body that came here on its own existence? It came here for its own existence. How do you do that, beloveds? But humans believe that this is how it's supposed to be, and it's just not. And that's why God said I had to harden Pharaoh's heart. And how God destroyed Pharaoh was through the rod and the staff. He destroyed Pharaoh through his own law. This is the rod, and here's the staff. I'm not playing with this kingdom. This kingdom has forgotten me. This kingdom has literally forgotten that they are living inside of my immunity. And I already told them I'm against any ruler in this kingdom that tries to send those spiritual forces of evil into my heavenly realm. I'm against you. I am against you. Go read Ephesians 6:12, and God will be telling you this right now. God is not playing with us in this kingdom. Why? Because this kingdom is just a cloth. It's a cloth. You here, you are a law. You come from a constellation. These gods are trying to evolve this kingdom and this kingdom, the living kingdoms. Here, this kingdom, these rulers and these authorities is trying to kill, steal, and destroy it. Death, though I may walk in the valley of the shadow of death. These people here, these rulers and these authorities, they have no authority over this kingdom and this kingdom. All they can do is send their nasty spiritual forces of evil to try to kill, steal, and destroy it, which means that this kingdom will have to pay the price. It's an eye for an eye. So God's children will be killed. The ones who are innocent, the ones who know not what the rulers and the authorities in this kingdom have been doing to them. Is this good or is this bad? Should you fear? Nothing. I don't fear anything anymore. I fear this one right here. Why do I fear this one? Because in order for me to be her, I got to walk in this fabric. I got to walk under its law. And I got to abide in it. Like an obedient child. Because my Father is not here to kill, steal, and destroy me. To enslave me. To tell me I don't even exist. My Father is here to give me life and the abundance of life. And that's just it. And what happens to me in this world, it does not matter anymore. Why does it not matter? Because in order for this world to exist, I still got to be in this world. I still have to be in this world. And in this world, because I still have to be in it, because it's how I got here, I got to follow the law. Or this kingdom will pay the price for it. And this one is the one that will die from it. So to stand still, you will get to know how to walk in the fabric of your own existence. How I got to learn how to be who I am today. I already knew her as a kid. What God has been doing is he's been taking me back to the memory of this existence. Now, see, in this existence, you are the beginning. You are eternal, you are immortal, and you are mortal. Every body that was born in this body lives in this gene. Remember in your mother's womb, all those genes, all those little existences that swam up in there, they return back to this kingdom once they pass away. So they return back here. If you are a human, they turn into DNA. But if you are a priest, like in Hosea 4:6, it says, if you didn't reject my knowledge, you won't return back as my priest. I will reject your children. So if you are the priest, you'll return back in this image, in this likeness, and you'll be able to draw from immortality and mortality. So right now, because I am from this constellation, I can draw from the memory of everyone who walked in this fabric and everyone who walked in this fabric. I choose to not go into this fabric. I choose to not go into this fabric. Why? Because this fabric is not a healthy state of mind. And when I come down into this world, my chemical body becomes infected. I get poisoned. And this is just the truth. It's the truth, beloveds. Why? Because I'm a law. I'm a law. Inside of who I am right now, the kingdom of heaven within, all my organs and my cells and my tissue must follow the authority of eternity. In order for immortality to exist, I have to be under the law of immortality. Of eternity. And immortality will automatically feed me mortality. It's all one. I and my Father are one. This one in your mother's womb swam up into this one. This one sat in there for 3 months. And then it became the organs, the cells, the tissues, and the limbs, the living kingdom. That kingdom, you learn how to walk in the heavenly realm. Inside of your mother's womb, you stayed in water. You stayed in water. You stayed in the presence of the Lord for almost 9 months. And I was born early, so I didn't stay in there for 9 months. But in there, you were learning how to breathe without no air, breathe without being a human. You were learning how to be the spirit inside of your mother's womb. But many people, they don't understand this because they want to be humans instead of their own truth. Remember, Jesus said, this is the truth that's going to set you free. Once you come back up into this kingdom, your mind automatically becomes the gene. Stay transformed and renewed in my mind. It automatically turns back into the gene. Because this gene is one under this covenant, you automatically are standing still in the presence of the Lord. You automatically know thyself and you will know me. Stand still and know that I am your God. So this is what I got thrown into. I got thrown into it because somebody in this world got threatened by me because I started to wake up and I was coming back into my memory. And see, in this kingdom, you're not dealing with righteousness. You're not dealing with righteousness. You're not dealing with the heavenly realm. You're not dealing with people who know that this body is a holy grail and we must never produce spiritual forces of evil in it. We must never go against this kingdom because it's a law. So in this world, they don't know this. Humans don't know that they have to live by this law in order to not die, to live and not die. Okay, that's what that means in the Bible when it says in order to live and not die, you have to live by God's kingdom, which is immortality, mortality, and eternity. So as I got, for about 3 years, remember my Trinity is the 3, my birthday is on the 3rd. I'm the 12, which comes back into the 3, the 6, the 9, and the 12. Everything about me represents this constellation. Everything. Everything about me, my birth, my names, all of my names. My first name means queen. My second name means vehicle. My third name means authority. And my last name is price, which means that I'm the inequity. God has already paid the price for her existence. Everything about me speaks about who I am. Everything, and it's so beautiful, but I can't ask this kingdom to understand it. I got to stand still in my own living truth and just know who I am. Tell them I am sent me. Nobody can deny me of what I believe. No one. Because I know what I believe is true. Why? Because I came from this kingdom. Here, I don't believe nothing is true. In this kingdom, I got about 50,000 names that they call me. 50,000 names. I'm fragmented in so many states of beings that I'm crazy. I'm diabolical. I mean, I'm like, I don't even know who I am. One day you want me to be this. The next day you want me to be this. The next day you want me to live up to this. The next day you want me to live down to this. This one, I don't know who I am. I'm just trying to fake it until I make it. In this one, I am her creator. In this one, her mind, God is her creator. Let me not take away the truth. In this one, it's like stand still and know that I am your God. I walk in her image and her likeness in this one. When you know who I am, when you know that you are my covenant, my constellation, then I walk in your image and your likeness. You stand still in me, your mind automatically is the book of life. Remember, this gene carries the memory of the DNA. Not only does it carry the memory of the DNA, it carries the constellation of this fabric of existence, the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. See this Holy Grail? See the Son? Remember, God said in Hosea 4:6, you will not return as my priest. You will not return back as one in me. You will not return back as one in me. Here's the Son. This is what creates the child. Right here, the gene. And some people see it as the sun outside of us. We couldn't have eyes to see that constellation without this one. So even if you want to say the sun, the stars, the moon, you can say that too. It's all internal. Everything is internal, so it don't matter about that understanding. But this understanding, it does matter. Remember when they say the devil is a liar, this one does not know anything. It just makes it up as it goes along. It's like fake it until you make it. You can't fake it till you make it in this kingdom. Why? Because this gene has already walked in this kingdom since the beginning of time in God's covenant. I've already been here. I've been here millions and millions and millions and millions of times, beloveds, in this gene. This is the book of life. God's transformed and renewed mind will always be under the accordance or the authority of this kingdom. And this kingdom is eternal, immortal, immortality forevermore. So when you are a priest, you will be able to draw from this kingdom. But this kingdom is a law. So when, as a kid, and even today, there are certain things I cannot do. I will not do. It's not because I'm stubborn. It's not because I don't want to listen. It's not because I don't want to abide. It's because if I do it and I'm chemical and my mind and my gene is a law, it will kill me. It will kill me if I do it. Humans are deadly fucking weapons formed against their own existence, but they know not what they do. So I don't do it because my mind, which is a gene and a law, it knows how to protect me by this living God. This living God is not a God of death. He's not a man, so he can't lie to me. He's going to protect me. He's going to armor me. He's going to shield me when I stand in his image, in his likeness. This one will kill me. It teaches me outside of my own existence. It teaches me to live in a world. And here I am living in eternity, immortality, and mortality. And I don't know nothing about it. So it's not that I'm being hard-headed. It's not that I'm not listening. It's that I have a chemical body, beloveds. I can't honor myself according to this knowledge. This knowledge is the valley of the shadow of death. It will kill me. And it will make me break my covenant with my law. And if my law thinks that I am a spiritual force of evil, do you know what it's going to do to me? It's going to send spiritual warfare on me and kill off my body. Kill off my cloth. I'm not worthy I'm not worthy to be treated that way. No, I don't live in that constellation. So my gene automatically stands in my image and in my likeness, and it armors me. The mind. Remember God says, stay transformed and renewed in my mind. Well, God's mind is a law, and it will never kill you. Why? Because it's more immortality. God's living body is mortality. And God's living existence is the fabric of existence. It's the creator of all things living. The elemental kingdom, beloveds. So what master would you want to serve? The one you living inside of right now. I'm not living inside of this kingdom. This kingdom came last. So why would I be living up to human nature when what created me was this one? I should be serving this master every single day. This master knows I'm a chemical body. This master ain't going to send spiritual forces of evil like fear, worry, hate, racism, poverty, lack, anything that will have my chemical state of being producing alchemy. It will never allow me to produce alchemy in this body because my mind is a law. And as a kid, this is why I had mental health issues. I felt like this world was making me crazy because I couldn't do what it was asking me to do. I never could do what it was asking me to do. It was hurting me. And I'm crying and I'm crying. I'm literally begging God my whole life, save me. Save me, God. Save me. I can't ask for the things of this world. I feel like I'm being attacked every day by what you will see in Ephesians 6:12, by spiritual forces of evil. The Bible is making so much sense to me now that the 3 years I had to go into my mastery, those 3 years that the people who were trying to attack me, they put me back into my own glory. 3 years, I spent 1 year mastering this. The next year I spent mastering this. And the next year I spent mastering this. 3 years. When the COVID came, beloveds, y'all can't understand what I was going through. When the COVID came, I felt God come back and walk the fabric of this earth in my image, in my likeness. You don't know In the Bible, when you hear all those priests calling on the God of all hosts, now I know why they were calling on the God of all hosts. Now I understand why they were calling on the God of all hosts. Because Ephesians 6:12 is real. It's real. It is real. And when you standing alone, you don't have nobody in this world who can help you. This world is literally against this whole kingdom. And they don't even know it. So if they don't even know it, do you understand what they truly are doing against the heavenly realm? Can you, in those who do know it, and they know it, and they know that they breaking the law, so they don't feel I broke the law, so they will go through into any means, and they will use anybody. Once that darkness get into your heart, in your mind, remember he says, who knows the heart is wicked and the mind is deceitful. You working for the spiritual forces of evil, beloveds. You are automatically, why? Because your body is a chemical and your mind is a law. You automatically turn into the adversary. This is why God said you are to serve no other master but me. You cannot. Why? Because your body is chemical and your mind is a law. Stand still and know that I am your God. God will never let you do anything wrong. God will never let you destroy and operate in the heavenly realm with darkness and a hardened heart. He will never allow that to happen to you. Ever, 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 never. And I understand now in the Bible, when I'm under a spiritual attack, these gods come back into my gene. They come back into my mind and they tell me how to battle the forces that come against me. They tell me. Remember, they already walked since the beginning of time in that DNA. They already walked in the DNA. They already won this battle. They already won this war. They already know how to govern this kingdom according to the heavenly realm. They won't kill, steal, and destroy me. They won't. They're not thieves. They're heavenly gods. They're heavenly rams. They produce immunity. They ensure your life. They put on the armor of God for you. And they walk in your image and your likeness. This kingdom will not. This kingdom does not love this kingdom. It rejected it. And how do you know this again? Because they are humans. They call themselves in another name. They live outside of and they live in a world and not in their own soul. Your soul is a covenant, beloveds. Your soul is a covenant with immortality, and eternity. When I stand in the presence, which is just be the eternal being that I am, I'm connected to immortality. Immortality connects me to all the living gods, all the elemental kingdoms, whether it be mineral. It connects me to all these kingdoms. I don't have to fake it until I make it. I don't have to believe it. I just am. And they come to me when this kingdom is trying to kill, steal, and destroy me. They come. The elements, the living kingdoms come, and they armor me with the knowledge. They'll tell me. They'll allow me to feel it in my body. I'll start feeling pain. My mind will start thinking in this understanding. And then that's the trigger. What's bringing me back down here? Somebody's trying to communion with me in this world. And my mind is a law, and my mind is saying, no, we don't think like that. We a heavenly realm. I don't think like this. So when I get to thinking like this one will come in and it'll start thinking for me. And it'll start telling me, no, 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 no. We're going to speak the truth, the holy truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. No, 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 no. I armor myself with the truth, the holy truth, and nothing but the truth. I don't operate in this world. I can't live in this world. Living gods cannot live in a human. They cannot live in a human. Why? Because they created the human. The human has to live inside of them. You have to live inside of your own existence. They can't live in you. They created you. So how can they live in you? Humans are just like, it's when it speaks of ignorance in the Bible, that's all it's talking about. That's what ignorance is. It's you wanting to reject your own knowledge. You refusing. It's like Hosea 4:6 is just telling you, you chose to not be my priest. You chose to not be my genetic code. You chose to not be my child. You chose to not be my holy grail, my Holy Spirit and my holy grail. You chose. You made a conscious choice. Remember, your mind is existence. So you can choose to live as a human. But once you choose that, you have to understand who's ruling this world. Who's ruling this world, beloveds? Who rules this world? It's not a heavenly realm. It's the valley of the shadow of death that rules this world. And when you don't realize that, this immunity, this knowledge cannot live inside of a chemical body. This knowledge cannot live inside of a law. This knowledge cannot live as a living God. It can't. It cannot live. Why? Here is what created it. Remember, God says, surely if you eat from the knowledge of this tree, you're going to have to die by it. Why? I'm a chemical body. What it produces is sickness, sin, and death. It's an inequity, and my gene is a law. So I will have to, it's an eye for an eye. You take from me, I got to come back and take it back from you because it does not belong to you. Existence, immortality, and mortality belongs to me. You forfeited your right. You rejected your right. So how you going to come in and take from me? How you going to come in and steal, kill, and destroy from me? It don't work like that. You are a thief who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And I came that you may have life. Standing in my presence, standing still. Stand still. When you stand still, it's like closing your eyes. The easiest way for me to tell you to stand still is close your eyes. And behind you, there is a living presence. Behind you, there is something that is not you because you can recognize it. Right now, if you close your eyes, you can recognize something behind you. You can feel you here. You still here. You can feel you, but behind you, there is something that's truly watching you inside of you. That's what this is. You, the living God. Immortality is inside of you right now. And it will armor you in this image as long as you are in this likeliness. But not if you just exclude it. How does it? It's like, ask and it shall be given. I'm going to give you everything you ask for, but it comes with the price. You're going to have to pay. Why? Because I can't live in this existence. Everything that you create in this world breaks my law, poisons my chemical body, and what does it do to here? It turns me evil. It turns me into a spiritual warfare. It makes me go against my own living, my child, which is my gene, because I'm a law, and I came that you may have life. I didn't come that you may die. I didn't come that you may get sick. Why would I create you so fearfully and wonderfully made if I was going to do that to you? I would never create you in the image of eternity, immortality, and mortality, and bring you down to this kingdom where I don't exist, where you are going to die, where you are going to become a spiritual force of evil in darkness to my heavenly realm. I would never do that to you. Only the valley of the shadow of death would do that to you. Only the spiritual forces of evil would do that to you. And when you stand still, you are literally giving God the opportunity to get to know who you are. To know who you are, not who she is. Who are you? You are immortality, beloveds. You are mortality. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Oh, yes, you are. At every present moment of your life. Every present moment. But in this kingdom, this does not exist. As Hosea 4:6 has told you, you rejected me, beloveds. You reject me. And now I will reject your children. Here's the Son, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Grail is what holds the Spirit. God's Spirit cannot dwell in darkness. This is why he said, I hardened Pharaoh's heart. And I destroyed Pharaoh with my wrath and my rod and my staff. Here's my rod, the law. Here's my staff, the chemical body. I control Pharaoh's mind. I control Pharaoh's existence. I am Pharaoh's existence. Now, Pharaoh trying to kill me and my people off. We ain't done nothing to Pharaoh. Nothing. We have done nothing to Pharaoh. It's Pharaoh who is the wicked heart and the deceitful mind. We have done nothing to Pharaoh. We brought Pharaoh into our living existence. We brought Pharaoh into our living kingdom, and we gave him life. We gave him eternity, immortality, and mortality. And now Pharaoh enslaving us, killing us, stealing us, destroying us. No, we have done nothing to Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the thief who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. We did nothing to Pharaoh. Pharaoh has become a colonizer in our existence. Pharaoh has become a devil, a demon, a deity, a darkness, a spiritual force of evil in our existence. We didn't do anything to Pharaoh. We told Pharaoh how to live in our existence. Stand still and know that we are your gods. We are a law. We are a holy grail. We are righteousness. We house the fabric of existence. And Pharaoh want to come and say, no, I'm a human and you ain't my God. I don't live by your kingdom. And although Pharaoh living inside of the staff, the rod and the staff, and living off of this existence, enslaving the very fabric and the very existence that brought him here. Okay, so I'll just harden Pharaoh's heart. I'll let Pharaoh walk through his 3 generations. And when I return back onto mine, I'm going to handle Pharaoh according to his rod and his staff. Stand still and know that I am God. We don't have to battle. There's no battle. The battle has already been won right here, beloveds. Since the beginning of time, your creator is eternity. Your existence is mortality. And what you live in is mortality. The battle has already been won. Generations upon generations upon generations. And there's no ending in this kingdom. There's no beginning in this kingdom. It's only a beginning and an ending in this one. Right here. It's a brain. It's an inequity. And this law will not let what it done to it go void. And you have to understand this. Because when you are in the presence of the Lord, you are under the law of existence. You will not break that law. You cannot break that law. You cannot do wrong by your people. You will be able to break the bondage that your people have been imprisoned in by the spiritual forces of evil, by the darkness, and bring them back to their covenant. Because as long as they're not under their covenant, they under the inequity, which is the end time prophecy. This kingdom is not bondage for no reason, but because it cannot live in this one. I rejected you. You rejected me. I reject you. This is a law. Whatever we do, it's like the opposite. This world thinks that everything they do is right, but it's wrong. Why? Because everything that they do kills off a chemical body and it conforms a law. So this world is doing everything wrong. It's a sin. It's a born again sinner. Generations upon generations upon generations. That DNA will sin against its own heavenly realm until it walks through the three generations, which is eternity, immortality, and mortality, and comes back into the fourth generation, which is itself, and it just says, I'm here. Now I got to be the law again. This is God's becoming. When God returns, this is God's return. It's here. It's in the law again. One in itself. It handles itself accordingly. It does that every day for us all. It's called karma. Every day this world is karma. That's why you see living kingdoms dying. This is why you see laws breaking their own law, sinning against their own existence, their own people. Treacherous, making them struggle, enslaving them, because the law, if you don't live by the law, you have to live opposite to it. So if you break the law, now you are the transgression. Do you know what a transgression is? So if I didn't want to live as the living kingdom, now I will live as the valley of the shadow of death. If I didn't want to produce spiritual heavenly realms inside of my body of existence, now I will only be able to produce DNA of death. It's an eye for an eye. Everything that you do in this image, this one will. It's the law. It'll make you live in it. It will make you live in it. It's an eye for an eye. And how do I know this to be true? All you have to do is just be born eternal and see how this world treats you. You don't have to do nothing to them. You can come back to free them from the bondage of Israel, to set them free from their own captivity and their own enslavement, and they will treat you as though you are the adversary. They hate life. They hate their existence. If God was speaking to them right now through me, they would not believe it. They would still walk themselves to their end of their time and perish. And that's just how the law works. It works. But it ain't going to try to destroy you, beloveds. It's going to always try to free you. It's always going to tell you the truth. But do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? Do you want to believe in it? You will believe in that you black. You believe in you African American. You believe in all kind of spells, witchcraft, dark magic, black magics. But you won't even believe in the one that brought you here. If you knew this, and you do know this, if you ever had a baby, this is how your baby got here. If you knew this, why wouldn't you believe in it? Because this world hates that understanding. And because your masters and your rulers rule you under fear of punishment, fear of enslavement, you just don't choose it. But when you don't choose it, you're choosing the valley of the shadow of death. Why? Because this darkness inside of you, a chemical body, a mortality and an immortality, is death. Automatic death, beloveds. So it don't matter what happens to you in this kingdom. It just does not matter. In this one, victory will forevermore be won. Always. In this one, it will perish. And if you choose it, you made that conscious choice. Remember, God said, ask and it shall be given. I'm going to give you. The devil will give you what you want. He's still using God's image and God's likeness, but he's using it in the valley of the shadow of death. He's using it inside of a chemical body that cannot live inside of this type of knowledge. He's using it in a gene and a mind that's a law that cannot produce this type of existence. So do you think this existence is going to let this existence come in there? No. Nah. This is eternity, immortality, and mortality. Do you think something that was not created under this image and likeness is going to be able to exist inside of this constellation? No, it's not. All this is just a cloth. It just covers its flesh. Remember, God said, Don't honor the flesh. Honor the spirit. Here's your Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Grail. Guard your heart. Here's where my spirit dwells. You know that the spirit is in the heart. Your energy center is the heart. Stay transformed and renewed in my mind. Why? Because your mind is the gene. It's the child. It's the son of the living God. It is the genetic makeup of the living God. It's the memory. It's the book of life of the living God. And the Son of Man is nothing but the memory of the DNA, which is race, sex, culture, religion, political statuses, the memory of the world. Here is the memory of the living God, existence. Stand still and know I am your God. Stay transformed and renewed in my mind. Guard your heart through my wellspring of life flows, not this one. As I just be more authentic in who I am, I had to stand alone for a very long time. For 3 years, I was basically rejected because I started speaking my truth. I started being authentic. I started standing in who I am instead of standing in who this world taught me I was. And this world is a punisher. Many people punish me by, I ain't fucking with her no more. Nah, she lying. This world punishes. It's all it's been taught to do is punish, punish, punish. But as they were punishing me, they gave me 3 years to master. 3 years I got to master my Trinity of life. 3 years. Because this world, this world don't understand. I came, God born me in his image and likeness to free my people. And see, my people, they don't want to be freed. They love this immunity. They love it. And how did I get to see this? The way they treated my immunity when I was trying to do right by them. They don't realize, humans don't realize, you can't treat a chemical body like you treat this body. You can't treat a gene like you treat this human. We come from a different constellation. This is a holy grail. This is a law. You got to treat me like I am the fabric of existence. You got to treat me like my internal kingdom is a living existence. You got to treat me like my existence is existence. You can't treat me like any old type of person, like this kingdom treats itself and everybody in it. You can't treat me like that. I can never be treated under this authority, this knowledge. I am a eternal being. I am a immortal being, and I am a mortal being and an immortal being. I have to be treated as my image and my likeness. And humans don't treat their existence like that. They treat their existence like this. So I got to know, I got to just see everything. You have to have eyes to see through the living God, through the law, and through eternity, immortality, and mortality. And when you start seeing the truth, when you start really seeing the truth, you won't want to serve this master anymore. When you literally start seeing the truth, you will walk. It will be so easy for you to walk up out of this understanding, because you will really understand. God said, your struggle ain't here. Your struggle is here. Here's your struggle. You will really be able to see what every one of them scriptures really means in that Bible when you stand still. And you have to stand alone. And you got a whole world of people who don't realize that they hate you. They are rejecting you. They are denying you. They are casting spells and sickness and sin and death upon you. You will really, really understand what that Bible means and why you can only serve one God and one nation under God. Because in this world, there's no immunity. It's just not. This world does not even know it's living inside of a chemical body. This world does not know that their gene, their mind is a law. This world, they don't know that they have to live under the law of their own nature, their own existence. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And the ones who do know what they do, they now are rulers and authorities over this world. And that's just the truth. Standing still. Close your eyes for a little bit, beloveds. Every day for about 3 minutes, try this. The next day, try it for 4 minutes. The next day, try it for 5 minutes. And get to know yourself outside of being black or white or Asian or Hispanic or Indian or whatever race you are. Get to know yourself as your head and not your tail. Eventually, beloveds, all these beautiful, beautiful fabrics of your existence will start to awaken in you. And then they'll start to train in you. They'll train you. I didn't get trained by this kingdom. This kingdom, every time I tried to reach out for help, somebody got threatened by me. Every time I tried to look up to somebody and ask them for advice, they got threatened by me. This kingdom, no. And they will justify why they did it. They'll make up, no. It's okay, beloveds. I'm not against you. I forgive you for everything you've done to me. But this kingdom right here, you ain't got to know but one good, great teacher. And that's your existence. And your existence will help you master your mortality. And your existence will help you master your immortality. And once you master these two, I and my Father are one. Stand still, and you will know I am your God again. I will direct your ways like I did in your mother's womb. 3, 6, 9, and here you are. 12. My 4th generation. All will come back to the one. It will always tell you the same thing inside of this kingdom. Because you got here. In your mother's womb, this is how you got here. When you come back again, if you are another child or another DNA, you're still going to come back through the same constellation, beloveds. And you don't die unless you living inside of the DNA. And you don't perish unless you living inside of the DNA. And you live as long as you don't reject this gene. And this kingdom will live forevermore once this one has perished. It will live forevermore again. Like our first ancestors, remember they were living 900 thousands of years. That's because that darkness hadn't come in and taken over this body yet. It had only a little. Remember when I first started coming on here showing you the lives through the candle, and I was showing you how it was filling up and it was filling up and it was filling up. Well, that's what happens. This is how you number your days. If this is a collective spirit, because it is, it's still one in the same constellation of life. So this collective spirit, if this whole world is living in darkness, as Ephesians 12 told you, Ephesians 4:6 said, I'm not against you here. I'm against you in here. Why? Because you send spiritual forces of evil into my heavenly realm. If this is a holy grail, it fills up. If this is a whole world that's living off of this existence, because you are still living off of immortality, beloveds. And if immortality can only hold so much, because it's not living under eternity anymore, it's living off of DNA. So once this Holy Grail is filled up to the top of his chalice, do you think it's going to exist anymore? Do you think you are going to exist anymore inside of your world when your world has to operate off of mortality? And if mortality is not under its own covenant, it can't exist for you under your own immortality or your own eternity. It can only exist for you under your own DNA. So once your DNA has poisoned the light body, which is the mortality of his existence, what are you going to live off of, beloveds? You rejected your eternity. You rejected your immortality. So what do you think you're going to live off of after, what do you call it? The scientists say that the world is a black hole now. What are you going to live after your black hole has no more light? Perish. My people perish because of lack of their own knowledge. Stand still and know that I am your God. I come with truth, immortality. I come with your fabric, mortality. And I come as your living God, eternity. I don't come as a colonizer to kill, steal, and destroy from my own fabric of existence. Judge ye not unless you want to be judged, beloveds, because you cannot justify doing anything in this kingdom when I am a law and I am a chemical body and I am an energetic being. You can't justify that. You can just say I am an eye for an eye and I am a law, and my law will not return back void unto you and what you have done against my heavenly realm, because I came that you may have life. And the more that you try to manipulate it, the more that you try to imprison it, the more that you try to make it live up to you, and it's a law, the faster you just speed up your evil, your mortality. You darken it. You're not doing anything. This is you. I am you. We are one. Love thy neighbor, beloveds. Love me. Exist in me. Provide for me. Sustain me. And stop profiting this world when I am your soul. Can you abide in your own truth? Can you stand still and know that I am your God? Can you even exist for me, beloveds? Can you even believe in me? Can you even honor and respect your own living truth? Every day. You got to choose who you're going to serve, beloveds. It's a choice. Why is it a choice? Because you truly are existence. That's why it's a choice. And although many of y'all been forced by fear of punishment, y'all still made that choice. And you can always choose to live as a law. And yes, it's going to hurt for a while. Why is it going to hurt? Let me tell you why it hurts. Because these people will hate you. They'll hate you. They'll reject you. They're punishers. That's all they've been taught. So you already know this. You've been living amongst this type of spirit your whole life. You know, you already got victory over knowing how they will treat you. Get over it. I had to get over it. I had to get over being alone. I had to get over people punishing me. People making me feel as though I was evil and I was wicked. No. Can't nothing be more wicked than you to treat me the way that you treated me. And I'm a chemical body. And I'm a gene. And I'm energy. Can't nothing be more wicked than that, beloveds. Your words, they don't mean shit to me. This is what means something to me. Once you can get to this point, it's easy to stand still. It's easy to come back into truth. And it's easy to not want to be around this immunity anymore. Not because it's good or it's bad. Because this immunity believes it's doing everything right. It believes, oh, it's holier than thou then. It believes that you got to live up to its standards. Y'all can have all that. I'm in no competition with this world. I will never be in any competition with this immunity. Because inside of my real kingdom, inside of my eternity, my immortality, and my mortality, I'm not fighting no battle. I'm just standing still and knowing who I am. Getting to love who I am. Standing authentic in this kingdom I have to endure. Stand still and know that I am God. Have an amazing day, beloveds. And if no one has told you and will ever tell you, love and immunity. Love and immunity, beloved.